She's not. She's tied up with her son.
I don't know what else I can
He might
Kel's
be
just-
running there.
Hopefully he's not at the dumping.
Start without.
Hang on a second.
Ralph needs a minute, right?
I need a minute. I got Cheryl. Well, Cheryl ain't gonna get her thing. Give me a recorder. It doesn't have fresh batteries. You know what? You be miserable with the.
My allergies?
Yeah, because I know in the past it was kind
Wanna wake up, Ralph?
Yeah.
Just egg and cheese. The only egg I can eat, probably because it's not real. It doesn't bother my stomach.
just in case. You probably know, but yeah.
Do it right.
Nope.
Proper organic, nicely raised eggs. Gallon perfect.
It's not chewing this.
She found the bag.
Did any of you sign in here?
Oh, that's new. For coffee?
Yep.
Use?
We always do sign in. You don't have to sign in as in to order or anything, just presence.
It's been that way.
Nobody just does it.
No first come, first served.
Oh, okay. It's been a while. All right. So it's just attendance, not to talk. Okay.
What's up, Bob? How you doing?
Okay, no problem.
Hi, how are you? All right, good to see you.
You never answered my email.
Which one?
Yeah.
Well, the one I asked you.
Sounds like it's just attendance.
Commission meeting, and then I was told to do this before the meeting started.
Oh, I had things going on. I was in my office.
Yeah.
Is there any questions I can answer you now?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Where's this? Let's do
That's not that too important.
backtrack to 2025. Have you ever seen that? Amazon wants to go with packages.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Starting this meeting, copy of the board, July 12th. It is approximately 9:04 a.m. Opening up the meeting for discussion.
My fault. I have some procedural things I'd like to talk about
Go for
first. We're automating the system here, so therefore it's going to be a little different. If you could just say your name, we're using a Genesis AI, so therefore all you got to do is say it once. You don't need to say it again. It recognizes it's absolutely beautiful, but just say your name once. That would really help us out. Because, voice number one, if I got to go through, 27 pages, voice number one, and I got to change it each time, would greatly be appreciated. If not, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Second thing is, it came up last time on the meeting where somebody sent some message to me, said, thanks for talking about both sides, reading the letter from both sides, and just want to say that's not the way it works. If you want to send something, don't pepper the trustees. Send me an email and just say, clerk, we'd like you to read this. And I will read it. By law, I got to read it. Okay, don't make me sound like Samuel Jackson either, okay? So, that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
First up.
Good morning.
I guess we're coming up to the podium. This is
Sure.
Larry Hebert. Thanks for doing this, guys. Mine are just a couple of things. For instance, we had a notable meeting recently. I'm wondering if we could do a couple of procedural things in that we need to hold people closer to their 3 minutes. I know it's pretty heated, so a lot of people went into 4 and 5 minutes. I don't exactly know how you want to do that. but maybe we could do that, and that would help the meeting move along. We could also ask people not to do this applauding. I didn't understand all this applauding at the meeting. We all have points, and we're glad that people appreciate what we say, but applauding took a lot of time. And it was, you guys were here till 1:30 in the morning or some ridiculous thing.
We're good too.
Maybe that would help. Would you introduce the board, the clerk? We had new people on the board, and not everybody knows they were that new. I mean, you do have some name things, but and it's past the first meeting, so that would have helped. The last thing I have to say is, we talked with the chief police about these electric scooters that the kids are on. I mean, I damn near killed a kid the other day because, I'm on Madison and Villa. I couldn't see him behind the telephone boxes. And he didn't even stop at Madison and Villa, and there was a car there. So, we know they're illegal for the kids. You've got to be 18. I think that's correct. You've got to be 18. Could we have the village put a notice in the paper? Notice from the electric scooters are not legal for children under 18 years old, and they need to follow the rules of the road for a vehicle. I mean, just big something to at least get it out there, because somebody's going to kill a kid one of these days, and then maybe we'll do something. But maybe we just notify the public, these scooters are really dangerous.
Absolutely. So just to answer a couple of your questions right up front, more about the procedural thing, is the time limits to 3 minutes. We do have that. I didn't want to limit anybody's right to freedom of speech, even though people were out there calling me a king and what else. So I let people talk, all right? I'm not going to stop people from speaking their mind. That is the place and the time for that to happen. In the past, there has been something along the lines of a policy where it says that public comments is limited total to 30 minutes. However, with talking with our legal counsel, we're debating whether or not that constitutionally we can do that. So while, yes, I know that the meeting and public comments went very long, I think it was an important meeting to hear what people had to say and to get that feedback, and that's exactly why we had that meeting. That's why we're having this meeting, is to get that feedback as well. Moving forward, I do agree with you that we have to be strict on the time limits, but we will also look into the 30 minutes total if we could implement that or not. Introducing the board members. Do you want me to introduce them now, or when did you want me to introduce
Well,
them?
just like for now, our clerk, God bless him for what he's doing. Not everybody knows his name or even that he's the clerk.
Okay.
So,
So everybody in the far back corner over there, raise your hand, please. We've got Clerk Lauken.
Yeah, easy email too, in case you want to set something. Clerk Lauken at invillapark.com, or I will also get it at rlauken at invillapark.com.
Absolutely.
So anything you want to send me is easy.
So he is available. Please feel free to reach out to him with any questions. And to his concern earlier today, is that if you need something read into the record, please contact him and let him know that, so that way he can do that. As far as the clapping and the applauding too, again, yes, I agree with you that that was probably unnecessary, but in the heat of the moment, with everybody's emotions running as rampant as they were, I understand, I allowed it. Moving forward, we'll try to limit that as well, and make sure. I think the most important thing is making sure that our meetings are actually productive, that we can actually have constructive meetings and discussions up here, even with emotional topics that are happening like this, especially with all the changes that's happening in the village. So, going along with introducing our board members, to my left, Trustee Tina Constados. We have Trustee Jack Kozar, and to my right, Trustee Khalid Sabri. So, if you would like, I can make another formal introduction at our next meeting on Monday if you'd like. But those are our trustees. Regarding the electric scooters, I agree. And there's a lot of parents out there that, myself included, that have gone out and spent a lot of money on some of these scooters for our kids. not realizing that the state was going to pass a law that had strict requirements. So one of the important things is, first of all, is education and letting the community understand that this is what's happening. As a parent, I know how much those things cost. I know that they are a safety issue as well. And here we are, approaching August, and soon it's going to be Christmas. What a perfect time to buy gifts for your kids, like these very popular electric scooters, right? Well, hopefully to save parents a little bit of aggravation, we need to do more of a public display or a public outreach campaign. And that's something that we have discussed here on the board, and I believe on Monday's agenda there is a topic that is talking about the electric scooters itself, so that way there's a clear understanding, but it just doesn't stop there. Part of the discussion that we had with the police department is creating an awareness campaign. How do we get this out to the residents? How do we roll this out? Because it's not just about saving money, it's also about safety as well. Some of these scooters, for example, the one that I bought my son, I really didn't realize it, and I should have done a better job, is that thing could go up to 50 miles an hour. There's no, and that's my mistake, but there is no reason why a 10, 12, he's 14 years old, should have a scooter that goes that fast, even if it's on a sidewalk. But as you've probably seen too, a lot of these scooters aren't just on sidewalks, they're in the streets, zipping in and out. We've had a lot of concerns from residents like yourself saying, hey, just zipped in front of me. So we are concerned about that as well. But what we are doing moving forward is trying to make an awareness campaign that lets parents understand the risks involved, the safety concerns, and also the cost that is associated with it. Ultimately, it is against state law if you're under 18 to have one of those. And also, we don't want our police necessarily running around chasing down our kids on these scooters and then ultimately having to confiscate their scooter. There are places that you can have scooters, so private property and whatnot, but this is all part of the campaign awareness that we have to have, and it's my hope that before the holiday seasons come, even before like Black Friday or Thanksgiving, that we are really in full swing with this awareness campaign, so that way we are on top of that.
Just as a follow-up, we could maybe have yard signs. We've had
That's a
village
great
yard
idea.
signs, and that would be a way of letting the general public, I don't know how you want to word it, but about scooters, you got to be 18, something. It would be one way for people that don't get the newspaper or social media.
Absolutely, and I think one of the big things too is that we have to look at the village's capacity to actually enforce this all out. It's going to be extremely difficult for us to enforce this if you look around at how many kids actually have these scooters. So again, in an earlier meeting, we talked about officer discretion as it pertains to these issues. Like, when is it necessary for an officer to actually stop and pull over one of these kids on these scooters? Is it related to safety or what have you? So we're going to be attempting that in the public discussion as well. Trustee Constados.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Constados. Also, I'd like to suggest that once we do have the meeting and we do adopt an ordinance, that maybe we could follow through with like some of the other towns around us with something in the water bill.
Yeah.
And
That's a great
I'd like to see something put especially in the school packets that go home to all of the parents to register their kids. That's, I think, something that would be big. If the school is saying, this is not allowed, these are not allowed on school premises, that may cut down on a lot of it as well. So, but we can't do that until we fully have something put in place, which we're in the process of doing now.
So I really like those ideas, especially the water bill. Almost everybody gets one of those, and we do have the capability and the space on there to put that as a note. I believe we also have the ability to attach like a QR code or a link to that, so someone, when they actually get their bill, can scan it and it goes to a website. So we'll look into that because that's also an avenue that we can use to address that. I like the idea of a school packet reaching out to them. I'm meeting next week with districts 48 and 88 to have discussions. I'll make sure I bring that up, and then I'll make sure that also District 45 and those discussions. But a newsletter, yes, for the village. Getting into the newspaper, we can do that as well. I also think social media is a great platform to
What
utilize.
about
moving
sign
forward.
out where it says concert in the park, right in front of, right here at the corner?
Sure.
Everybody knows to look there for information, recycling, this and that.
Sure.
Or put up some kind of sign there,
Okay.
because people look there.
I was just gonna suggest before Tina did schools, ask the schools to get involved.
Yeah.
So just because you mentioned water bill, I don't know my water bill. Just saying, I mean, I get it digitally, so I mean, you gotta make sure if you're gonna do something, it's like
Send
a
it
text
digitally.
saying it's
That's a good
coming
idea.
up, it's gonna be paid or something
Yeah.
like that, because I have an auto. So if we do something on there, to be honest, I don't even open that. It just tells me how much it's gonna be and whatever, so I'm not saying it's not worth it, but definitely, you
No,
know, look
I-
at it digitally as well.
I
Yes.
agree with you on that, and there are many avenues in which we can roll this out and get the word out. You know, the Village of Oak Park hasn't necessarily done a great job in the past of rolling out plans like that. So part of moving forward too is we're looking at things like that, is how do we communicate more with the public? How do we engage more with the public? So that way everybody's on the same page.
Okay, and one last thing about scooters, sorry, when you're looking at scooters in a lot, because the other day I passed 4 scooters on my street and 3 of them had 2 people on them.
Two, I saw one the other day.
Were they wearing- were they wearing helmets?
No.
No.
Not wearing.
But I'm just saying, it's like definitely there only should be 1 person on the scooter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually don't, I can't say it was bad because they all said hello. I was on my bike going the other way, but I mean, they all said say hi, but there was, 7 kids on 4 scooters.
Well, yeah, we can absolutely identify firsthand what some of those safety concerns are, for sure.
Heather,
Yeah,
you might
Teresa
want to explain to everybody what's that we have to
Social
follow the
media,
state
I'm,
laws.
social media is, I'm a fan of that, because that's just where we
Yeah.
are right now. I appreciate all your suggestions, Tina. Not only e-bikes, I mean, e-scoot or whatever these things
E-bikes,
are called.
e-scooters.
Well, there's 3 teenagers on them too.
Oh, God.
And at night. And also, let us not forget Prairie Path.
Yeah.
So
That's it,
I'm
yeah.
a bike rider, I like to ride at night, and I know those teenagers, when school's out, that's where they go, cool, I want them to be out there. But what's on the Prairie Path at night, they're like motorcycles now, honest, those big time, and they jam down that Prairie Path more than 35 miles an hour. And so I had a bad incident recently for the first time ever, groups of kids and they wouldn't move and I fell off my bike because of that. So then I went to a traffic and safety bike subcommittee meeting for that reason, because I've never fallen off my bike on the Prairie Path.
And again, this is something that is going to be a challenge for the village to even enforce. Also because of the amount of numbers, the police officers that we have on the street at a given time. We are in need of more police officers. Without giving away specifics and security details about our police department and how they operate, is that at times it's just impossible for there to be multiple police that enforce this. So that's why I think the biggest bang for our buck is going to be this awareness campaign moving out, and at least put it on the responsibility of the parents of these kids to understand the consequences that come along with this, and also the safety concerns with this. And again, I admitted it myself, is, all these kids want a scooter. I bought my son one as well, but I didn't look too good into it. I'm assuming other parents do that as well. And then when I realized they could go up to 50 miles an hour, it's kind of like, what did I just do? It's like giving your kid a motorcycle.
Are the e-bikes included? Because I know there are a lot of e-bikes.
Part of the law was e-bikes and e-scooters.
Oh, okay.
I personally have seen way more e-scooters, but I've also seen e-bikes as
But there
well.
are a lot of, now, if it's considered any kind of bicycle, they have to follow the rules of the road. A
So-
bicycle does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. as far as the e-bikes go, the law specifically outlines a certain set of standards for what that qualifies. I believe it's like motor size, how fast it
Right,
goes.
right,
So those details I don't know exactly offhand,
yeah.
but those I think would be a little bit more flexible, or our police officers would be a little bit more lenient in enforcing the e-bike portion of it. But when it comes to the e-scooters, that's going to be a real challenge, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
something that I think
Well,
public...
I mean, the bikes, the e-bikes, people are using them as transportation
Mhm.
to get to and from work. They're not just playing around on the streets with them.
Right.
Well, the e-scooters are prohibited by anybody under 18.
All, regardless of how fast they
It
go.
doesn't matter, e-scooters.
Scooters,
Yeah,
I get it.
Well, technically, they're not allowed in our
Yes.
village at all right now.
Bikes are
We
different.
don't have an ordinance.
That's what I figured, the
It
bikes are
depends on
different.
speed.
So what Trustee Constados actually said, which is absolutely true right now, is that currently Villa Park is adhering to Illinois state law because we do not have a formalized ordinance in place to actually enforce this. And that's what's on the agenda for Monday as well,
Right.
so we can further discuss and implement that. But technically right now is that they're not allowed.
They're not allowed, so anybody on an e-scooter or an e-bike, technically, because we don't have an ordinance written yet, they're illegal here. So this is why it's on the agenda for Monday, so we can get something put into play. I also want to suggest too, and I know I was a parent of 3 as well, you know, so when cell phones first came out and kids started going to school with them, you know, it was hard for the school to control them. And I think it got a little bit easier when they started putting into plan, like if you were caught, the phone was taken away and your parents had to come to the school to pick it up. Well, everybody knows parents are very busy. The last thing you want to do is take time out of your day to have to go to the school to pick up your kid's phone because they were using it when they weren't supposed to. So I think what we need to maybe look at as well is some sort of a consequence. Unfortunately, because kids are underage, the consequence is going to fall onto the parents. But unless we do, I think, something or discuss some sort of a fine, and I don't know what other towns are doing, it's really not going to stop. I mean, if it's always just a slap on the hand, it's little Joey got caught 4 times, you know, on his scooter, don't do that. I think we need to think of some sort of something to put into play as far as a fine. So that way, like maybe first offense, you know, they get a warning, second offense, it's, you know, I don't know, a small fine, third offense, it's a fine and maybe take the scooter, or whatever the case may be. But if there's nothing to follow through with, I think it's going to be harder to get everybody to.
Yeah, and to that point as well, right now, especially with how the law is designed, if our police officers make a stop, they are well within their right to confiscate the scooter. And think of that as well, especially as a financial hit to the pocket of the parents that bought that scooter. Some of these scooters are thousands of dollars. I know I spent a hefty amount on the one that I bought for my son. And, well, now I have a new toy to get to and from around town.
Environmentally friendly.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But to that point, though, is that you know, the consequences of the enforcement of this is that it can actually get confiscated by law. So this is all part of what needs to be addressed in
But if
this.
the parent knows that their child's, the scooter that they've spent so much money on can get confiscated, I think the parents are gonna be more involved in saying, you're not gonna do that.
Absolutely, and I am guilty of that too, right? I am guilty of that. I know how much they cost.
And word will spread that way too.
Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna stand up, hello everybody, about the scooters. If we could come up with a flyer, like you're gonna post it on, you know, on the social media, laws and safety suggestions.
Okay. Separate the two?
Right.
Okay.
Legally, here's the scooter rules and another line for the bike rules, and then the suggested safety, such as only one person on a scooter, helmet, no telephone, no earbuds, you know, this sort of stuff. And for a consequence, I think community service might be good,
Yes.
instead of
That's a
maybe.
really
so.
good idea.
Totally.
That's
And
an
I would
excellent
agree,
idea.
I would absolutely agree with you on that. However, what I will have to
Just
say,
like the mission.
I'm all for that as well. What I will have to say is, we also have to look at what we can legally
Yes.
implement as well.
You could suggest,
And
maybe.
being that a majority of the people that would be in violation of this would be minors, that plays into effect as
Or
well.
make their parents do the community.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's right.
Well, yeah.
Give the parents
So glad it's
consequences,
grown up.
right, and it's
There you
gonna
go.
have a bigger
I'm gonna take
impact.
note of that really quick.
I'm so glad my kids are grown
Instead
up.
of making them the criminal and,
Yeah.
make them positive to the community.
I like that.
Exactly. That's a great idea.
And, yeah, the flyers, if they could be posted like in the window in our buildings, and also have ones that they can pick up and take home, such as the point of sale, police stations, fire stations, village hall, school, you mentioned school, and park districts.
Kiosks on the path.
Pardon?
The kiosks on the path.
On the path, yeah, sure. They were
Yes.
great. Yeah, because they have those, signs behind the glass where they're protected.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
I'll bet we could even get some of our local restaurants to put them with their deliveries,
Sure,
if,
would be great.
if we ask.
And one thing that I will say too is that we've already addressed that this is going to be difficult, and it's going to be difficult to enforce.
Yeah.
But we do have a police department that is the best in the state, I believe, and very understanding as well. And that if you out there see major safety concerns or violations, earbuds, just reckless driving with these kids, please call the police. Let them know what you're seeing. You're
I
not
won't hang up my phone.
What's that?
I won't be able to hang up my phone.
Okay. But that's what they're there for. Give them a call. Let them address it as well, especially if it's a major safety concern.
Well, the issue is the kids think it's a toy.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, I'm on a motorized vehicle and I'm in traffic.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question. We used to have the bike police on the great bed. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that
I
actually.
do.
Do you remember that?
We still do.
The bike police. I mean, we have the police riding, but I don't know, I've seen them in a long time. But, and I think.
They still have the
They
license.
used to ride up and down the
I
park.
apologize. I apologize. You meant police officers on bicycles.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
For some reason, I thought you meant that it was like an organization of people going out there
No,
and
they
racing
have their
on bikes.
police
My fault.
bags and they're
Yes.
riding up and down. But I haven't seen them lately.
And
And
that's
I
something-
don't know if this is multiple jurisdictions doing this, which you could share the cost because the parade path goes.
Right.
So we do have officers in town that are on patrol with bikes, especially in the summer and the spring and stuff. That is something that we absolutely can bring to the chief's attention. Let's have them patrolling on the prairie paths, the Great Western Trails, just to, and it's also a safety thing as well. My wife is an avid marathon runner, and sometimes on her long runs, when it gets dark outside, it's a safety issue as well.
Yes.
And having scooters zipping around can cause issues. So I agree with you on that. That is a conversation that I'll make sure that I have with the police chief that we implement moving forward. But on the a much larger scale, when you talk about multi-jurisdictional, that is a conversation that I'll have with the county as well. Say, how can we get more representation or enforcement on these prairie paths? That might have to work with intergovernmental agreements with Lombard, Elmhurst, and everybody else. But that's something I could bring up to the county and see how well we can address that.
And also, don't we have like a community service officer?
We do.
So maybe we could also see if that could be another, I know it's an added job on their back, but maybe they could keep their eye open as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or rearrange your schedule or something.
Right.
If I may add on to some of the conversation going on, I did had a meeting with our new chief, Todd Kubish, and I did brought those concerns to his attention. And let me tell you something. Rest assured that he is looking into that, and we will be very concerned about some of these issues. And we are a little bit ahead of the curve with that. So even though the ordinance is coming on Monday, we're going to review, but police is already looking into all these, so it's not like we're not paying attention to all of that. So we are in check. So rest assured. Yes.
I'm changing the subject here. I'm very concerned about the discussions that have been going on about putting a crosswalk across from what used to be, I think of it as Lufkin Pool. I always will.
Yeah.
But I've done some reading of village ordinance, state stuff, to just put a crosswalk there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to go from the driveway of the park across the street. That's a privately owned driveway. And right now, that house is owned by the bank.
Yeah,
The bank is not, because we're talking liability.
I agree.
So even to put in a sidewalk next to that driveway, you've got buffer zones
Yeah.
that have to be abided by. You rip out part of the curb and you've got to rip out a lot of curb.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a village ordinance.
One of-
And I'm really concerned. I don't think that it is the village's responsibility to anticipate wherever a kid's gonna cross the street. I mean, at Harvard and I always get Central and Park mixed up. But there's a playground there. I've seen kids cross from the other side of the street over to the park in the middle of the block. We have to put a crosswalk in there too. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me, for the village to take on the liability of doing this just because someone may cross the street.
If I may add to that, I understand what you're saying here. If you are walking across the street from the Lufkin
Yeah.
pool, you can see it's a little bit in a...
Yeah, I know, there's,
And it's always been like that, and it's not visible for people to coming from both sides. So we will look into that. I will say that with
I
Park
mean,
and
can
Rec-
we just put a sign up next to the driveway? Do not cross with an arrow. It's half a block. We're not talking half a mile to go up to the crosswalk. And quite frankly, back in the 60s and 70s, when us baby boomers crowded that pool, you couldn't even jump into the pool without landing on 6 people. It was so crowded. But we all knew the crosswalks up there. That's where you cross the road.
If I may.
Forget 60s, I remember. I remember when I moved in this town in the 80s, the pool was booming, so you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
And everything else. So yeah, definitely we'll look into that. Yeah, so.
I know that I was at the last traffic and safety meeting, and so were you. And there's a couple people here representing that. And I wanted to say that this was a big topic that they were talking about. And there was a lot of different suggestions that came across that I believe somebody is going to be bringing maybe suggestions to the board, or they were looking into further, from ideas of painting the street with lines, or painting the street with a sign that says, park, slow park area, or whatever, to even signs, like on the sides. So there's a lot of options that were discussed, and I believe they're going to be looking further into. But there's cost, and then there's also, you have to keep in mind the project that's going to be coming up where they're going to be ripping up that street.
Right.
And redoing it. So anything we do, we don't want to put a big expense right now into doing, although we do need a quick kind of cheap fix right now until that.
Hire a crossing guard for, $15 an hour.
Yeah, but
for just the busy times.
You can't
No,
have them
you
sit
can't
there all day.
cross here.
But you know what I mean? So there are some things I know that were being suggested, correct?
Well, they were trying to look at some things, but the other thing is we also have the study that's coming down from Ardmore, so they're gonna be looking at it.
Right.
Because it is a bowl, it's going to be
Yes.
very challenging for it to be doing. I mean, I've lived here. You know what I mean? there's never, ever, ever, have I ever heard of anybody getting hurt crossing, because I'll say, I did it myself. Cross Ardmore to go to Lufkin Park or back and forth. But nobody's ever, there's never been an issue. So that's why I asked the question, it's like, what were the issues prior to it being the new Lufkin Park versus the old Lufkin Park? There weren't any. So why is it now an issue? Plus, you also have to put on this point that it's personal responsibility. This is my own personal view. And it's like it's personal responsibility. You need to go to the crosswalk. And it is very challenging for the bowl, because you can't see, you aren't seeing. I mean, we put new signs up there saying there's a park up ahead and stuff like that, so we know that, so people know if they're coming down on both sides, there's a sign. But, I mean, at some point, we're gonna take a look at it when we do the study on Ardmore, because we're redoing Ardmore, but we'll see if they come up, because there may not be anything that we can't do, based on what the study comes back.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, sure.
Well,
Summed up the meeting.
you had something.
Is anybody from traffic safety here going to weigh in on?
Yes,
I
they
know.
were just.
Well, come and weigh in on the issues of sidewalk?
You were in the back, they just did that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got sidetracked. Excellent. Thank you. On the second note here is, as a product of the 70s, I had one of those Sears mini bikes that cost about $199. And it made me a lawbreaker, big surprise. And again, I just witnessed it about 6 weeks ago, where a bunch of kids were driving their bikes, driving their scooters, and the cop followed them, and they split off, and the cop didn't get a single one of them. So I think we need to sort of figure out a way to understand that you're really just making these kids lawbreakers, or you're going to have to solve this problem. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to post this everywhere, but kids are going to do what they're going to do. Second thing is, Bob, you probably have a better handle on it. So there are 3 different types of e-bikes, is that correct? And therefore, you can drive an e-bike on the Prairie Path except for the 3rd type, is that correct? Which is 55 and over or something like that? Yeah, okay.
28 miles an hour actually is the cap.
28? Okay,
Yeah, I
great.
think that's-
There you go. See, I
I
knew
think.
somebody would know the true answer to this. The DuPage Forest Preserve does have, you realize that our intersection there of of Villa and the Prairie Path is the most congested intersection on the entire Prairie Path, as you obviously. Okay.
Villa, you said?
Villa
The
and
Historical Society, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
that is the most congested site there, that gets the most traffic, and I believe, we'll have to check, but as of 5 years ago, it's like 6.7 million people. I mean, there's a lot of people who use that path. So again, the question is instead of crawling in front of some kid with an e-bike, maybe we should sort of figure out a way that we can get our cops out there if we need to, or whatever it is, but I think it's a problem that doesn't really need to be solved, or doesn't need our solution to it.
It might be a great corner for an event, an educational event on a busy day.
That's a great idea, actually.
I think Joe Amori said it at one of our meetings.
I will talk to Joe about that, for sure. That's a great idea.
Go ahead.
Going back to Lufkin, I mean, if it's that much of a issue with, visibility with drivers watching Lufkin, then why don't you just drive a speed limit down? I mean, is that an option, or is there legal?
Speed limit down.
If it's such a short distance.
You can, but
But there's
I mean,
almost always a
a
cop.
speed limit sign is
In
only
that
gonna
parking
stop
lot.
those that,
You're going down.
yeah, a speed limit sign is only gonna,
There's
you
no.
know,
All right, so can we have
a speed limit sign is only gonna stop those who are doing the speed limit. I mean, and there's people, even with the speed limit that's there, that go faster than that down the street already, so.
yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Bob Wagner. My specific question, has to do with one of the items that's on the COW on Monday. This has to do with the reorganization of commissions. And this is the venue where we get to ask questions and you get to answer us those questions. couple concerns, and having read the ordinance, it looks like a section of the ordinance that deals with the Garden Village Commission. Looks like it might have been written by AI, because it describes the spring sweep event as a community-wide cleanup, not a recycling event. So I've got a couple questions, and the other remark I would make is, you offered some nice rhetoric about how you appreciate volunteers, but come to light that you were assembling volunteers 2 weeks before the ordinance was published on the agenda. So my question for you is, who wrote the ordinance? And when did the request go to Montana Welch to draw up those ordinances?
Well, to answer your question, I wrote the ordinance. That's something that I went to school for and I was learning about. I'm a urban studies major over at Elmhurst University. I'm in a master's program dealing with emergency management and homeland security, if you want to know, with a concentration in community resilience. I wrote
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I wrote that.
You wrote it, okay.
I wrote it. I don't know the exact date as to when I submitted that to Montana and Welsh, but they have looked at it and they have.
I mean, was it 2 weeks? Was it a month before?
I don't know offhand. I can't tell you that.
Is there relevance to
Is it-
that
yeah,
question?
is there relevance
It
to
is relevant because, you know, we would have liked to have known, we would have, I mean, as a courtesy to the people who are serving on commissions, to
Wait,
know.
like you want to know when something goes to our village attorney? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I would like to know when the request went to Montana Welch.
No. I'm asking the relevance of when it goes to the attorney. You want to be included in that? I mean, what's the relevance of that?
You're misstating what I said.
No, I'm asking. It's a question. It's
Okay,
not a mistake.
Okay, Mike, so I wanted to know, just for my own information, how far in advance this plan was being, you know.
Right, that's what I'm
actually-
asking. Like, what's the relevance of that? You just need to know everything? Is that, like,
No,
explain that to me.
No, Trustee Kozar, I don't need to know everything. I want to know for myself personally, how far in advance this
Why?
was.
Why?
Why
What's
do
the
you
reason?
need to know why?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to understand, like, at what point,
I don't.
at what point we have to loop Bob Wagner into
No, well, now we're getting
communications
it.
with
I
our
don't-
village attorney.
I probably, I don't
seem like
need,
he's evading that.
yeah, I don't need to be badgered about this.
I'm not, I'm just trying to clarify
So
what you want to
What
know.
I'm asking is a simple question. When did the request go to Montana Welch? Because
But I think Kevin answered
let me
that.
finish. As a volunteer, I'd like to know why we weren't in the loop. Why you couldn't have said, hey, these are our plans. So it's a simple question. You don't need to know why I need to know. I'm kind of telling you that for my own personal information, I'd like to know when the request went in. And I don't know why it's such a hard thing to answer.
I think it's important to also take into consideration a couple of things, okay? First off, this was something that was written up and everybody keeps saying, well, we weren't informed, but nothing happened yet. So how do we inform somebody of something that hasn't happened yet, okay? Just because I have a few things to say on this topic, since I didn't get to speak at the last meeting, okay? Everybody assumes that what was put out was everything that we were going to do, that the reading was going to be waived, that we were going to vote on it that day, and rumors spread like wildfire. And instead of anybody reaching out and saying, like, is this truthful? What's going on? Everybody just came here, and we were here till 1:45 in the morning. You can shake your head all you want back there. We were here till 2 in the morning, and we gave everybody an opportunity to say what they had to say. And instead of approaching it and saying, like, can you explain what's going on? What is your take on it? How do the rest of the trustees feel about this? Instead, everybody got up and just ripped us and accused us and assumed and everything else. And really, I get it. Emotions are high. I understand that. But we also need to take into consideration this town has 22,000 people in it, okay? And if we don't at some point start allowing other residents as well to do the work, and to be involved and have an opportunity to be involved, that's also not fair to them. If you've been on a commission for 10, 12, 14 years, your work, God bless you, thank you. We do thank you, we do value you, we do realize that. But at some point too, we need to start to transition other people from the town in, other people who wanna come in with fresh ideas, new ideas, they wanna volunteer their work. But everybody got up and right away dismissed their feelings, dismissed that, and then further went on to say how, they weren't qualified. Well, nobody's qualified until you get on and start to do things, So I think that this is why we're here, is to discuss this. Nothing's been done. Everybody says we were going to be dismissed, nobody even cares. Well, we didn't get to that point to do anything to even discuss if this goes through and the volunteers that have been here for so long, what can we do to honor that? We haven't been given that opportunity yet. To assume we were going to do nothing but say, you're done, toodaloo, goodbye, is unfair to us as well. But I get it from a human standpoint, that's your first instinct to feel that way. I get that. But this is an opportunity for us to now discuss it and, move forward with it.
So I just would, just reaction to your
Sure,
comments.
absolutely.
I think I stated it, I think it's a good thing to reimagine or think about the structure of the commissions. The problem I have is that this was sprung on us, people who are serving. Suddenly, all the volunteers were assembled, and it was pretty clear that the hope was to appoint them that evening.
So just to
let me finish.
Clarify
But
that.
again,
You're talking about
you're
you're talking about how it was rolled out as opposed to what is actually in those ordinances.
I'm talking. I think the ordinance specifically, and I mentioned why I think it's flawed.
But are you talking about now about your thoughts and your feelings about how it was rolled out, or are you talking about what is actually involved in those ordinances?
Well, I'm talking about both. I'm talking about the fact that the way it was rolled out, that there was no collaboration with the people who actually served. I certainly
But this is
agree with what you said. It's good to have new blood on commissions.
But this
and
is
that's
the
people come and
collaboration.
go. And my other reaction is that part of the ordinance is flawed. It's like the person, maybe, I don't know if you've ever been to Spring Street. It's not it's certainly a village-wide cleanup is good, but it's a recycling event, not a village-wide.
Can I ask you a question, Bob?
Certainly.
Okay. All these years prior to President Patrick being the president, has any other president done what you're asking? To my knowledge, the president has the right to do this. And it's never come into question until now. So when all the volunteers who were reinstated prior to the new board being sworn in, was the public alerted to that in advance? And how far in advance should they have been alerted? How far in advance should the public be alerted to anything? You have to understand, when it first comes on the agenda, that's when we first start to talk about it.
I was on the board.
Yeah,
I know the procedure.
well then you should know though. We don't talk about it ahead of time. This is where the talk happens. This is where the transparency happens, is at the coffee with the board, the cows, and the meetings. There seems to be some vision of these, like we get together in Kevin's house for coffee and we discuss all these things and then we put it on the agenda. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying to others who don't know, that's not the way this works. So this is where we're discussing it. And to say that you should be involved ahead of time of the thoughts when he's having a thought, like for him to tell you right then and
What I
there.
said was a better process would be collaboration as opposed to springing.
Okay, so how would you suggest that process?
You could go to you could visit the commissions and say, how can you improve your operation, or how could you change your
Bob,
operation?
can I interject? How many commissions do you belong to?
Pardon me?
How many commissions do you right now?
How many commissions do I serve on?
Yes, right here on this Villa Park.
I serve on 3.
Which ones?
Which ones? How many?
I serve on Environmental Concerns Commission,
Okay,
Traffic and Safety,
okay.
and Video Production.
Do you do anything else?
Bike and pedestrian.
Do I do anything else?
You're also a trustee somewhere else, I believe.
I'm a trustee on the Salt Creek Sanitary.
So you're a busy guy.
Okay, then the fifth one is bike,
Pardon me?
safety, bike.
Aren't you on the bike committee?
That is a
Bike,
subcommittee.
pedestrian, and transit.
Subcommittee, so that, that's
No,
a
so
subcommittee.
let me ask you this. You are serving right now on 5 commissions.
No, I'm serving on 3 commissions.
3 commissions, good.
A subcommittee and a
Subcommittee
trustee
is
is
part of the
subcommittee.
Environmental Concerns Commission.
So 5.
If you recall that you guys had a meeting about the MC Square, the,
Yes,
Special meeting?
yeah,
yeah, special meeting.
special meeting, correct?
Right.
How much time did you guys spend on that?
How much time did we spend on that
On
issue?
that 2 meetings, yes.
Well, we had someone from NIMEC come a couple months ago. I would say it's probably been on our agenda for
Quite a long time.
3 months.
And
Yeah.
then there's all the time
Okay,
outside
so
of
you guys
meetings that we
spend
do research and.
4 hours, it's 4 hours, 6 hours, how much?
How much time did we spend talking about it? I mean, I can't quantify it. It was an agenda item.
We'd have to ask
So,
all the
yes.
commissioners how much research.
How
time
much,
they
how much
spend as
research
well.
you guys have done on that, on MC Square?
Well, we had someone from NIMEC come and made a presentation, and then at our meeting where we made the recommendation, every commissioner had done some research
Just to see.
on their own.
Just to
Bob,
save some.
the point I'm trying to make here is that you are in the 3 commissions, okay, and you guys are spending so much time on MC Square. Did we look into any other company beside MC Square to bring in, to present to you guys that what kind of influence or what kind of cost saving that this village will have? Except just the MC Square?
So electrical aggregation is through MC Square.
Good.
And if we don't want to have electrical aggregation and the village doesn't make a decision, it'll go away.
Bob, the point I'm trying to make here is if you spend 6 hours just on that one commission, taking care of the MC Square, how much time can you spare on other commissions?
I'm not understanding your question.
How
So
is this relevant?
It's very relevant because
relevant.
now we are having
It
a
is
commission,
relevant.
we have other commissions which we are, bringing up. We have other volunteers, they want to step in. Don't you think it's a good idea to give them a chance to also serve on those
Absolutely.
commissions?
And people come and go on commissions.
Well, that's exactly the point is that we are presenting you guys with the better solution perhaps. At the same time, don't tell me that those guys are not qualified.
I never said they weren't.
No, we're not.
No one said
Never
that.
said that. No one said that.
People said
No
that
one
at the
said that.
meeting.
But
Multiple
there
people
was
said that.
multiple
Plenty of
people said
said
that.
that at the
No.
Yeah.
You should go back and watch the meeting.
Yeah,
There was
I'm not
multiple
quite sure
people
where you're-
saying.
where-
There
It was a long meeting, a lot of people said
I
a
was
lot
here
of
for all the
things.
comments.
They were
The
said.
thing
So
here, Bob, is that we need to see some changes. We need to see commissions being reorganized. That doesn't mean that you cannot be on that commission. You guys never had given us a chance to really discuss that. You and I had a telephone conversation. I gave you the time, not one time. Every time you called, I picked up the phone and I talked to you.
I appreciate that. Others didn't.
Yes.
Others didn't.
Yes, but we are listening. It's not like we're not paying attention to what we are doing and what's going on. All we're saying is, please give us a chance. Work with us.
Okay, I'm willing to work with you. I'm just critical of the process. And I don't know where you're questioning about our research that we spend time on
Bob,
with regards to electrical aggregation is
Work
coming
with us.
from.
That's all we're saying. Work with us.
Yeah.
I think he's more saying that, if you're on several commissions, it's a lot of time. And I know that I've gone back and watched some of the videos, gone back and watched some of the previous last few meetings, and even some of these commissions are questioning themselves. What have they accomplished? And how can we now make things different and better? But it's like
It's a reactive
we're
process.
now at we're now at the stage where we want to change things, and now all of a sudden there's this big urgency. You know what I mean? And I am not by any means putting down anybody who's a volunteer, not whatsoever. People can think otherwise. I can't change the way you guys think or feel about me or anything, okay? But I'm just here to help. and make things better, and not just for the 35 people who showed up to the meeting, but the other 22,000 that live here as well. You have to understand, I have people coming to me saying they would like to be on a committee, but there's no opportunity to be. So where do, it's not true, and how would you know, Christine? Explain to me, how do you know? You know the process, do you?
So hold on.
I do.
Okay, but hold on.
You put in an application, and everyone has the right to do it.
But hold on.
And they didn't.
Hold on. Let me just say, first of
They
all,
didn't, because
is-
everybody was
is that
re-upped.
We do have former trustees,
Yes, they
former
were.
village presidents here, okay, that know the process, or at least they should, right? Okay, but over time, and these are all on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I'm not diminishing the value of our volunteers whatsoever, but over time,
not at all.
it's evident that our village commissions have become too broad. They've become duplicative and sometimes inactive, making it very hard to get meaningful results. This restructuring is about
It's not.
sharpening our focus and reducing overlap and creating a commission system that's more accountable. It's more transparent and it better aligns with the needs of Villa Park today.
It's not a
By
person.
updating the structure, we're not reducing public input, we're strengthening it. That's what we're doing here today. These changes are designed to make it easier for residents to engage, for boards to function efficiently, and ultimately for the village to deliver real outcomes that reflect community priorities. These proposals that were put forward are for that structure change. There's more to it than this, because let me ask the former trustees and the president out here, tell me right now, how many openings are on some of these commissions? What do these commissions do? How does the public know about this?
Absolutely no argument with your last 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
I agree. There are some things that I think could have been improved with respect to the operation and the results coming from the commissions. It's the transition of the people. I'm not sticking up for any one person. I'm just saying that in
So-
fact there is a process.
The transition you're talking about, of how it was rolled out, the change.
Okay,
And change is difficult, I understand that. But when you look at what we're trying to do, this is necessity. You can go on YouTube and look.
I'd like to ask you, wait, I got a question. You said that the change was handled inappropriately. How do you feel the change should have been handled? Because it hit the agenda and it wasn't even final on the agenda
Okay,
before.
Christine, tell me about the application
All right, I'm
process.
not going to get
Wait.
into
How
this
does
too much,
anybody know
because
there's-
I think there's too much.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think this could be for tomorrow, but there's a couple things. The consistent reference to the fact that other people should have an opportunity to serve. Other people have always had an opportunity to serve. We are constantly reaching out, looking for people to be on these commissions.
You are.
You are? How?
As a village.
How?
As a village. Kevin, you've got up in several meetings
How?
and said we have openings on commissions.
Is that the only way though?
Gee.
There is more opportunities
this-
for us to engage.
Well,
This is
then
what I'm
that's
talking
fine.
about. One thing that I do want to talk about really quick is Trustee Cordova and myself. We have had very difference of opinions on a lot of things, right? It's evident on some of this. But we met last Thursday to come to an even ground playing field so that way we understand each other. Okay? And we both understand the necessity for the changes that are being made. We understand that. But how we go about it is different too. But we're talking about, I'll get to you, Bob, we'll get to public engagement. One of the things that I want to do as village president is that we need more engagement in our community, more awareness of things that are going on, including our commissions. One of the things that I am going to be doing here, and Trustee Cordova is actually helping me with this, is that we're going to start having 2 annual town hall meetings a year. June, July, November, December, about 6 months apart from each other. And this is a town hall that people should get excited about because this is where we're going to have an opportunity where all commissions are going to be expected to attend. They're going to have their own table, almost like a trade show. So that way public can come in and meet our commissions, know who our commissions are, see what they're about, what they're doing, and what they've accomplished to celebrate that. twice a year. It's also going to be an opportunity for us to talk as a board, to address it, like a State of the Union. Let staff talk, let boards talk, let people talk, let the public have questions and answers to some of their questions. This is a necessity that further enhances our public outreach and gets people aware of what's going on here. And why I refer to that is because these are the things that we're trying to hash out. Trustee Cordova and I have already agreed that we're going to work together on formulating our very first town hall that's going to happen most likely in December. These are part of the things that need to happen. Just because these changes are difficult and they're changes and the rollout wasn't what you had anticipated, the bigger picture here is that the change is necessary and we're moving forward with it. These are the opportunities to discuss these changes, but constructive.
She had a
I'm
question.
gonna make a, if I could make a.
Yeah, those town halls with all the commissions
Mhm.
absolutely should have happened before changes were suggested. Since I've got the floor, sorry Bob. This kind of all ties into one of my questions. I wanted to talk about water fees and water samples as well, but this is what we're talking about now. I did want to know, when you redesigned the ordinances, I mean, we know you didn't talk to the existing commissioners and you didn't talk to the new ones much about how things should be structured. And we know you used AI to design the ordinances.
That's not true.
But
That's not true.
it absolutely looks like it, but okay.
Well, I don't know
Whatever,
what it looks
whatever
like,
the truth is,
but that's an
what it looks
accusation that's not true.
like. Whatever the truth is, that's what it looks
Maybe it's
like.
because nobody has ever seen a
Okay,
trustee
anyway,
or board
whatever the
member
truth is,
actually
that what it looks
write
like. The
an
point of my
ordinance.
question is.
No, I just want to correct you that that's not true.
Okay,
So
so AI
please, don't
was
spread
not
false
used at all
rumors.
in the process.
Don't spread false rumors out there
Okay,
about
so
that.
AI was not used
That's
at
not-
all in the process
Because I
of
take offense
redesign-
to it, because what I've
Okay,
done
simply
is
yes
a
or
lot
no
of
question.
hard work
Did you ever
and
use any
background in
AI?
making that happen.
You once told me not to talk over you,
But you continue to do it to me.
and you do it to everybody else too.
Okay.
But that's, okay, now we're getting childish, so I apologize for that. I do. Simple yes or no question, did you use any AI to create the new ordinances?
No. And I've said that.
I apologize for that too, I should have muted.
Why is that
Okay.
even relevant?
So no AI, well, just because I mentioned that it was one of the, part of the process. It's leading into my question, it's actually relevant. And so was the answer no, or was it some,
The
a
answer
little
is
bit?
no.
Okay, none at all, okay.
Now
No,
I
that's
can't
okay.
I can't speak for what the attorney did once he got it.
Oh, okay, well, that's actually important, well, not important, but, okay,
Well,
thank you for clarifying
sure
that.
it
But the work that I did
Sure it is.
is no AI, and I actually
Okay,
take
cool,
offense
that's
to
fine,
it.
that's fine, then I retract it.
Very
I do retract it. But my question is, thank you, the question I had was, could you walk us through the process? So you spent a lot of time, this was a lot of changes
Sure.
really fast, sorry.
Absolutely.
So what was the process? What experts did you consult? What other villages did you consult for best practices, their staff, their mayors, their presidents? Professional organizations that talk about commission and village structure? Are there any guidebooks on best practices? So what was the process for developing the first draft for this? But before you answer that, I do want to comment on, supposedly that last meeting was about opening the discussion for this, but for all, whatever the truth is, for all appearances on that agenda coming out Friday night with these massive changes, people ready to be appointed, for all appearances, it was being rushed through with some false sense of urgency and apparently some hidden agenda, and it looked like, for all appearances, it looked like the board was ready to appoint all those people to the new commission.
Can I say something to that effect?
But the most important question is the process.
I respect what you just said. However, I think for all appearances, it looked like that only because emotions were high. Because if you look at all of the agendas prior, they all state that if the second is waived, then you can do that.
Okay.
So it's not like anything was done differently. Maybe people just paid a little more attention to that because it was a hot topic. You know what I mean? So when another topic comes up that maybe isn't so hot, like paying the bills or the budget, I mean, like we had 35 people, I think, come to speak, and that's great. That's great. I'd love to see 35 people every meeting. But do you know for 6 months of this year, this village has been functioning without a budget? You can shake your head all you want, but you don't know back there. We've had it's bullshit? Really? Okay, because you know Christine, right? No, it's not. And that's okay because we'll clear that up at the next meeting. But there's been no budget for 6 months. There's been no budget. And we start to talk about it and not one person shows up for that. Is that not important? Is that not important? Are other topics not important? But then we hit one topic that's a sore spot and it's like everybody comes and they're ready to rip our heads off. This is the point I'm trying to make. You paid attention to the agenda because it was a personal item. So you paid closer attention to it. And that's great. But pay attention to the rest of them too. Because there is a lot of important stuff going on. And nobody knew there was no budget because nobody listens, nobody asks, nobody comes, nobody reads it.
And we asked. We did ask.
We have been without a budget for 6 months. We've been questioned on the decisions we have.
We've been talking on the floor as the commissions?
We have been questioned time and time again on why we're doing what we're doing. It's because we are privileged to other information that we can't tell you guys. You have to trust that we're doing what's best for the people. That's why we're sitting here. We were voted here. I'm sorry, but 6 months without a budget, yes, I was not going to continue to go down that same road with the same person. As far as the commissions go, yes, it may have appeared like that to you. But if you read what it says, it didn't say that's what was going to happen. It didn't say any of us were going to waive the second reading and go straight to voting. And honestly, none of us were going to vote for that anyways. Nobody was going to even suggest that. But we were not able to tell you that night because Trustee Kumar put it off for another meeting. We sat here and listened to everybody and had zero opportunity to respond to your questions. I have 4 pages of notes I took on everybody who spoke. And I had zero opportunity to answer any of them or be asked, do you want to waive the second reading? No, I don't want to waive the second reading. I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. I want to discuss this. Yeah. So it's like sometimes we need to look at the whole picture, not just the little person over here, the whole thing. And I get it, you're upset. I truly understand that. And I apologize to anybody's feelings who were hurt. But we just want to work together to move forward. If we keep having these kind of meetings where we are constantly fighting against each other, nothing's ever going to get done in this town. Nothing. And there's a lot of work to be done. Together, we can do this. Together. With everybody's input, everybody's volunteering, everybody's help, everybody's ideas. I mean, I'm sorry. I had a lot to say. It's been building up since the last meeting. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get it out there because at the meetings I don't get the opportunity to say as much. You know, and it kind of stinks. But, yeah, you guys are good people. You've been doing a lot of work. And we want you to continue to do that. Nobody's questioning it. New people are going to need your feedback and your help. They're going to need that. So I apologize.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I get it. We all have a lot to get out. But the question on the floor relates to work with us. Show us that you're working with us. Tell us the process that was used to develop these new ordinances and why it's better than the old ones. So that's the question on the floor. It would definitely show good faith in working with us if we could have faith that it really is that experts were consulted and it is best for the village.
So a couple of things really quick when we're talking about whether or not experts were consulted on making changes to commissions. We have some commission members here that serve on the Fund Commission, right? My question to the Fund Commission is, you're a fairly new commission, isn't that correct? Over the last few years. Prior to that, what were you?
It was the Pride Commission.
Pride Commission. The Pride Commission was dissolved.
No, it wasn't.
It's not on our ordinances.
They changed the name. Officially changed.
Okay, so they changed the name and they also changed the ordinance to reflect a better mission, right?
Correct.
Okay, so where were the experts involved with that?
Actually, I'm asking you to tell us
Yeah.
your
Sure,
process
but what
for
I'm getting,
developing
and,
these new
and I'm getting
ordinances.
to, and I'm getting to that. But
Okay.
I'm making a couple of points clear. First of all, is where were the experts involved with that? Now, we also have a former president in the back that could probably testify that my very first year here on the board as a trustee, that I regularly spoke to about empowering our commissions and how they should be redesigned. That is something that I've been talking about for 6 years. And one of the reasons why, before I became a trustee, is that I also served myself on commissions. Police and Fire Commission, and what used to be the Cable Commission, okay? So to go to your question about how this formulated, is that I have lived in town for over 30 years. My mom was a nurse over at the old Elmhurst Hospital. Single mom who worked her butt off to provide for me. She spent her hard-earned money and bought our first home right here in Villa Park, something that we are so very proud of.
I'm having trouble seeing the relevance, but okay.
I went to Jefferson Middle School. I met my wife at Jefferson Middle School. I played basketball over there. I used to play basketball at the Iowa Community Center when we did have basketball courts for the community over there. I used to ride my bike up and down the streets. I know Villa Park like the back of my hand. I've been here for a while. Went to Willowbrook, all right? I spent time at Willowbrook. I graduated from Willowbrook. I joined the military after Willowbrook. I served my country after that. Where did I choose to have my family raised in my home? Right here in Villa Park. And to further my civic duty and my service to my community and my country, is that's when I took on the roles and responsibilities of joining the commission. 2 of them. Okay? I forgot to mention too that I was also, my very first job ever was a lifeguard at Lufkin and Jefferson Pool.
Okay, I get
But
it.
hold
You
on.
love Villa Park,
Okay,
you're an
but
expert.
what I'm
Okay.
getting at, though, is that also, I've got a degree in urban studies.
Okay, excellent.
Okay? I'm not coming out of this out of nowhere. But from my 30 years of being here, my 6 years being on the board, and my time as being on a commission member, one of the things that we championed up here was transparency. And I know that word's being thrown around, but if it wasn't for some of the board members up here, some of these commission meetings wouldn't even be on YouTube, because that didn't exist. Putting these meetings on YouTube is transparent. It's outreach, it's engagement. It allows our community, it's a bigger reach to be more involved. And where I'm getting at with this and how I'm going to tie it all back together for you is that it's obvious, at least to me, that not only with my experience and my time here in the village and being on the board and experiencing these commissions and everybody else, look at the YouTube videos of all the commission meetings that are logged out there. Go back online, look at all the stated meeting minutes that were submitted to the board about everything. Look at the agendas. It is clear and obvious that a change is needed.
Okay.
And what I'm getting
how
at-
did you determine what would best be that change?
So,
how did you
that's what I'm
determine what would
explaining.
best be that change?
But what I'm explaining to you is this is part of how this.
Because it's assurance
Marianne.
that it is best practices.
Marianne.
We elect them to follow best practices.
What I-
Weren't you just
Again,
talking
yeah,
about not
it's great.
interrupting people, Marianne?
All right, go ahead, keep going.
What I'm getting at
Let him finish.
is that the process, my determination for creating these proposals for change is just that. They're proposals based off of years of experience of viewing this, based off of data and research. If you would
Okay,
like,
what data and research?
for example, go back online and all the meeting minutes are available,
This is even relevant.
right? Because every commission that's out there has to present minutes.
Okay.
Go back and look at those. Also, the agendas are posted. Also, the videos are on YouTube. You can see for yourself.
Okay, well, what about like how other towns do it?
Yeah.
Or other villages, mayors?
There's
Did you have
Marianne.
any conversations with any other mayors?
Why would he, but why would he
Can I
have
please
to?
add something here?
But why would he
4
have?
weeks ago, that whole group there, and Kumar and I went to the initial meeting for the two-page manager's initiation. This was a hot topic. I've got the recordings if you would like to hear them.
No, actually, thank you, that was very specific information. I was looking for. I
Let me
appreciate it.
complete, okay? And part of the point was that you all feel very isolated and
This isn't about
taken
me.
advantage of. Oh, this is about you.
this
And
is-
we'll go to the next one. So therefore, the question was, this was a discussion. Naperville has come up with a brand new committee manual and got rid of their parks and recs. And the village manager, or village president said, look, you know, they've been doing it for 9 years and we need some fresh blood. This is nothing new. If you would have done a cursory Google search, cursory, you would see that Naperville, Willowbrook, and Glen Ellen have all done the same thing in the last year.
But that wasn't my question. My question
I'm not
was.
kidding. I don't care what your question is. You're saying
Wow.
you're accusing everybody.
Wow, you don't care what her question is?
Their question the question says more about her than it does about what happened.
Yes.
Absolutely not. It's good practice to
Absolutely.
know what process we get new electric in. It's good process to know which garbage collector we hire. It's good process to know what police
But
chief we
Marianne,
hire.
the question is,
You don't care about my
did you-
question, so.
Did you
Marianne,
question,
Marianne,
did you
please.
question the previous president on all these things? I mean, how many people came to the meetings and questioned all of that? It's like, I'm sorry, but I feel like this is just like, no matter what we say we want to do or change or whatever, there's just certain people that are just going to be like, no.
But that's-
I could say
that's-
that our village won the lotto and every person in here is getting $1 million, and there'd be those people that would say, why isn't it $1.5 million? So, I mean, what we're doing right now is nothing but arguing again.
Cheryl.
And again, this is non-productive.
Cheryl, go ahead. I'm sorry, you've been raising
I'm
your
sorry,
hand.
I've been sitting here long enough, listening to this, and the whole point is, Kevin, you brought up the change, which is great on change, and you admitted that the rest of the board didn't have it, it was something you were deciding. That's your prerogative as a president, I understand that. Being on several commissions, I understand.
You are on several commissions.
The 35 people that came here were upset on the way the procedure came on because it looked like it was just going to be railroaded through and what was going on in the system. That's not how I'm taking it, and as I said, I didn't speak that night for the reason for that. But this is the only place we can ask questions. First of all, we can't ask questions at the board meeting. I don't know if we'll be able to ask questions at the COW meeting, bringing it up, but this is the only place we can have an actual discussion on what's going on.
That's what we're doing.
Now, Tina, you brought up
Yes.
that, yeah, our commissions have been in there, the same people have been in over
Yes.
and over and over again. Well, instead of just changing the whole commission, why don't you put an ordinance in that they can only serve a certain amount?
Well,
Hold on.
There.
It was in the ordinance if you read it. If you read the ordinances that were proposed, term limits are in there.
Okay.
So,
I
Just gotta read.
But it wasn't.
Just
I mean,
gotta
I
read.
didn't-
The 495 pages.
Excuse me,
Yes.
may I finish? Okay.
Go ahead.
Some of those things are in there on the term limits of discussion. But when you bring in a whole new rollover that you're gonna change all the things, you brought up the fact that there's a lot of people in Villa Park that want to be volunteers. So what you're doing is you're throwing out the old commissioners, I'm sorry.
we're not throwing anybody out. We're not throwing anybody out, we're
When you replace them, that
restructuring.
is, I'm sorry, when you restructure it, it seems like you're taking there and throwing them out. This is an appearance thing, okay? When you put new people in those spots, the old people feel like you have basically told them they're worthless and nothing's happened. It's an appearance type thing. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
It's an appearance type thing. And that, I think that's the reason why you had 35 people come here and complain, because the appearance came wrong. Not that they know the procedure. I understand being a trustee what the procedure was. Nothing was gonna go in effect until you actually discussed it and went through. And it gave a lot of people the appearance that because some of the ordinances that really didn't need a second reading were moved on. it got the appearance that you were going to do that on this. Nobody bothered to ask you that you were or how it was gonna go on, because as you, Kevin, you always bring up, if it's something that involves people, you always require a second reading. Some people didn't hear you on it. For past meetings, you have said that very strongly, that you don't give a second reading if it has something that personally affects us in the village. Bills, yeah, you can move them along or whatever. Okay, but what's happening here is we've got a lot of people that are not understanding that you're gonna go through. We can't ask questions at the board meeting. This is the only place we can ask questions. And I know you wanted to roll out a new atmosphere, but you're trying to get more people involved. And getting more people involved and removing the people from the old thing isn't getting more people involved, you're just replacing them. We need to figure out a new structure under what you're doing to get more people involved. And yeah, maybe we need double committees. Maybe we need both of them going on instead of just taking away one. You put a lot of structure into what you're looking to change the commission so they don't get old and don't go places, which makes sense, because some of our committees for years, I'm being on them, have been very stale and not doing anything.
So my
They just
question to
roll
you
them
then,
along.
Cheryl, is,
Yes.
we're on the same page. I agree
Right,
with you.
I-
What we are here to discuss. So what are your suggestions for this? Tell me.
My
That's what we're getting at.
suggestions was, I mean, and parents, it was very hurtful to get it Friday night, that the idea that you were going to
What-
replace me. Now, that may not have been the way it was coming across, but that's how it did come across.
Okay, but
I would love to get more people on committees, instead of.
how are you going to do
breaking
that?
a
That's what I'm asking.
You added people to it, instead of making the new committee you had, just add more people to the commission.
So there's a couple of things.
So we have fresh blood giving new ideas, or make two different commissions that can work together on the same principle.
So you're saying you want more people on more
Involved,
commissions.
yes, I want more people involved in this village, by all means.
How will you address the issue of the constant not having quorums with our commissions?
If you get more people involved, then we won't have that.
Well, the more people that you have on a commission, the harder it is to have a quorum.
If you figure out, you've got to figure out a balance.
Well, that's
what
why
I'm
I'm
saying.
proposing 5 members.
5 members is a problem, because you've got 2 of them that don't show up, you don't have a quorum. You have to add more people, the chances are you are going to get more people involved with new ideas, change ideas, and maybe the quorum's a problem.
We have commissions with 7 and 9 members
Maybe the
that have
issue
trouble
is
making
a quorum
quorums.
number.
Steve,
Where does
sorry.
it regulate that you have to say certain people on a quorum? Is that a state regulation? Is that our regulation?
It's a
Where's
state
the-
regulation, it's
Is
almost.
that a state regulation that how many people we have to have on a
quorum.
quorum?
Open Meetings Act.
It's a Open Meetings Act, so it's the state law that tells you how many people would be considered a quorum.
Shouldn't all commissions?
Yes.
Or is it ours?
Hold on, let's.
No, it is a law.
It's a state law.
Yeah.
So that's what we're asking though, is, this is what we're talking about, is constructive criticism, and how are we gonna move forward? What would you like to see? And you're saying you wanna see more people on more commissions. What else?
Or as you said, you organize in other commissions. What is wrong with keeping the commissions you had and adding more commissions?
Well, it's not anything in performance-wise to the commission, it's restructuring and reorganizing, because there are a lot of things that have not been done right in the past.
Are you restructuring the commissions then, and maybe you need to pull out their bylaws for each commission?
That's what I've
Maybe
done.
it needs to be
That's part of the research that we've done, is going back and looking at the ordinances themselves.
Are you going to restructure those too? Because they're still on our line.
Are we in like a parallel world? That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing.
No, it's
Like-
not brought on the
It's-
agenda that he is changing what.
He's changing
He's
commissions.
changing the
That's not what you're
commissions,
asking.
he's
It has not
changing,
been passed yet.
wait,
So, let me
he's
ask-
changing
okay.
the commissions
Okay.
and what the responsibilities are.
Hold on,
And
okay.
the responsibilities.
Hold on. All right. What other suggestions do you have?
I'm,
So-
besides that,
So
what you're doing. I know
your
you're
constructive
moving forward.
criticism or feedback is just you want more people on more commissions.
Well, you're stating that the reason you did it is that you want to get more people involved.
I'm not talking about
You know,
what
not
I'm
just
stating
more
or not. I'm
people.
talking about what you are bringing to the table and what you're suggesting that you would like to see happen with this restructure. And all I've gotten so far is more people on more commissions.
No, I'm suggesting that that's a way to do it for what you brought up.
Okay, so what else?
I'm not telling you how to restructure it. I'm just basically asking
Is
where
it
you came up. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why I wanted to know what the
That's-
process was, because we let them do the work.
You're asking us to speak about something that you brought to the table, Kevin. We're asking questions about what you brought to the thing, and then you're asking on how me personally wants to change things on this discussion,
I just
okay?
want to address what she said.
I'm just giving you a suggestion that what you threw on the table was that you want to get more people involved.
Okay.
So getting more involved would make sense that you would keep the old commissions and get your new commissions, and that would be more people involved. You're talking about totally restructuring the whole factor
Yes.
of what's going on in the commissions, but you didn't bother to give the commissions an opportunity to change what you felt was wrong in the first place, to restructure that way and give us an opportunity if you felt there was something wrong as a board or not, how to fix it first before you decided, okay, we're gonna totally restructure it and this is how we're gonna restructure
So
it.
just so I'm hearing you right, your biggest complaint is that I didn't go to the commissions
No,
first to
I
pass
didn't.
them.
My biggest complaint was, I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say. You want to revamp, you want to change what's going on in the village.
It's,
But as changing things in the village, you're saying your restructure is to bring new people in. Tina just said she'd like to get more people involved in the village, but if you're
said
gonna
new
get more people
New
on in the village, everybody on the old commission, you're just saying, no, go have a back seat, you're leaving, because now I'm putting these people in. Now,
It's not
how
just
is
about
that
new
getting
people
more
though.
involved
I
in the
think you're
village?
missing the big picture. It's not just about new people. It's about the functionality and the process and the policy and how it's written into code. That
is the key factor.
Right,
Yes.
and you have to change the old code to make your new structure work.
but that's what's in the agenda. See, the agenda is what, 241 pages, I think it is now?
495 pages.
Oh, we've added, okay. So how
495
many
pages.
of those pages has everybody read? And I know it's a lot of pages. Trust me, we gotta read them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to say. When you say it appears to us, how are we supposed to present something to 22,000 people and have everybody look at it the same way? You can't. You can't. Everybody's gonna look at that paper and their own brain is gonna process it and think of how they wanna accept it or not accept it. We can reword it 50 million ways, but 22,000 people are gonna look at it differently, for one. For two, if I may real quick, you said you didn't get it till Friday. But being a former trustee, you know that the draft comes out first, okay, which comes just to the trustees. We give feedback on things to add or take off or whatever. And then the final comes out on Friday to all of you as well as us. So we all get it on Friday. That's nothing new. That's nothing that's changed. Any topic, any agenda, any meeting is every Friday. It's the same thing. So you weren't gonna do something differently. How is that not true, Christine?
That process changed, because in all honesty, and Kevin can vouch for the fact, everybody needs the agendas earlier. And
Oh, yeah, we
we've
do.
had that discussion with other towns during meetings, and they've all talked about how difficult it is because of the issues involved and the timeliness of it, that it's really hard for any
It is.
village to get it out before a Friday, because we've always had the
Yes.
issue of.
I'm not saying that you're not right. Yes, I would love it earlier too, especially when there's 400 pages to read.
Yeah, they were never 400 pages.
But unfortunately, They're 400 pages now because everything is being given to us. I mean, every single, well, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Really quick, hold on, Cheryl, 1 second. Cheryl, 1 second, please. All right? We are already a half an hour over our allotted time for the meeting. I'm going to ask that everybody gets an opportunity to either finish their comments or people that haven't had an opportunity to speak yet that want to step up with their bullet points and let us know. Again, the purpose of this meeting too is exactly this, the discussion, that constructive criticism to help us know where you would like to see us make with these changes that are necessary and needed. That's not debatable. It's proven here. If you want research, do a Google scholarly search like what Rolf did. So what I'm going to ask is, please, Cheryl, get to your point. We're going to move on to Steve and move on from there.
Okay, the other point I have is her idea of bringing in Lufkin on the crossing. If anyone's paid attention to the future of all the things on the bike path, on the crossing, the lights and the sign and everything else, they don't work. So wasting our village money on putting lights or signs or anything up for the traffic committee to do that, it is a waste of village money.
What would you suggest?
My suggestion would be an education thing. To educate the children
About crossing the
on
street?
how to cross the street.
But how is
That's a
that
parent's responsibility.
How is that?
Okay, I will take that. I will take that note that we'll have to have education about teaching kids how to cross the street. Go ahead, Steve.
I have one more thing.
Steve, you've already gone on point after point.
I'm
Please
sorry,
allow me-
that's what this is for.
I know, but you've covered
And
6 things
my
already,
last-
and I just like to have a little bit of time here, sir.
I will give
That's
you
all
one
I'm
minute.
asking.
Just
So
the
let me
one
go
other
on.
comment
I'm gonna
is,
go on only
when
because
did-
I've been recognized by the Diaz,
When
and
did
I want to
Coffee
make
Board
a
go for an
point
hour?
that I think is relevant to all the people of Villa Park.
I'll stay.
Because the people of Villa Park are an educated bunch, and they pay attention. That's why they had 35 plus people come out and speak to the issue of the reorganization of commissions. Because of the fact that they knew how the agenda works, and they knew there was a possibility that this could all get pushed through in one meeting. They realized, because we have an educated population who understands how the board works, how the process works. They may not agree with the process that was rolled out, but they know the process on how it gets passed. And they came out to stop it, which is great. Because the board felt the impact of the people speaking against, by their feelings about how they weren't considered. Now that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to go there, but I'm going to say that the people of Villa Park need to keep engaged. And the way that we keep engaged is to send emails to these guys. Send them your process, what you would suggest on how to repopulate the different commissions. I've been appointed, if it ever passes, which it may not, to a renamed commission. But you know what? I think there is very valuable information that some of our commissions have as historic knowledge that needs to be preserved within these commissions, because that's how we move forward. We don't rewrite the book on how to draw a wheel. We use what we know and we go forward. And that's what needs to happen. So we have an opportunity as village people. Here we are. As village people, we have that opportunity to come up with a plan to merge these ideas. We have that capacity, and we should take it. That's what I'm saying, and that's why I wanted to get up. Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, stand back up. At least I feel better.
I got this. And to Steve, and to your point, you're absolutely correct. is that there are people on commissions that have valuable institutional knowledge. Now, just because that they might not be serving on a commission anymore doesn't mean that we're replacing them. We're reorganizing this, and that there are going to be opportunities for people to get more involved. But what we have a systemic problem that has been lingering for a very long time with our commissions that we need to get a nice, sturdy, firm base to grow from. That is what we're doing. And what I have told from my 6 years on this board, since I came under Al here, about talking about our commissions is empowering our commissions. How do we do that? Well, it starts with the code. It starts with structure, it starts with policy, a good base to work from. And by that power is let our commissions tell us, the board, what they need. That is the purpose of commissions. They are advisory commissions to the board directly. They don't work for village staff. They don't work for any community organization. They are appointed by me with the approval of the board as a direct advisory commission. All right? That's what they're designed to do, but we need a foundational base to start from that is sound, and that is what we're doing here. So we are not replacing anybody. We are reorganizing. The opportunities will present themselves. Al.
A different subject. Yes, I have a swim meet I want to go to, so I'm running out of time. On your agenda, you had an issue on there about appointing a deputy president.
Yes.
And I just want to tell you, I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I've had personal experiences when I've been on with president. I was out of town in Alaska, and after many months of negotiating with the state for funding for the bridge over on St. Charles Road and going back and forth and argument with the Department of Transportation and all that, I was in Alaska when they said, okay, we need the documents signed now. So luckily we told them, okay, I'm in Alaska, I won't be able to get back to Vancouver. I'll be on a cruise until Sunday. He said, I want it on my desk at 7:30 on Monday morning, signed by you, the president.
Yeah.
Not by anybody else, no stamp or anything. So I had to fly down here separate, especially on a Sunday night, change my flight so I could come here at 1 o'clock in the morning and sign that document so that the staff could have that delivered to that guy's office by 7:30 in the morning. And by the way, it was all on my expense to change my flight. So, but I think it's a great idea that you have a deputy person to fill in for the president.
I appreciate that. And to that, okay, and to that point though, about what Al said though too, is that I think everybody in the audience could recognize the fact that in the past the village has been very reactive rather than proactive. We've lacked in planning and foresight. And to Al's point about the deputy village president, that is in preparation for the future. I cannot tell the future. I wish I could. I'd probably be making a lot more money than I am now.
Especially doing this,
but
right?
What I'm getting at though is that's leadership, is planning for the future, especially for the unforeseen. I don't know where I'm going to be. If something is out of town, if I maybe hopefully end up in Alaska one day like Al, is that there's somebody here who's able to do it and qualified. I'm suggesting Trustee Alfano. I think she has a strong head on her shoulders and brings a lot to the table. Also, you know, I've done that position before when Nick Pizzone was out of town. I was president pro tem. Okay, that's good experience for younger leaders as well, learning this position. So all of what we're doing is about foresight and planning, something that we desperately need in Villa Park moving forward.
I got a question. Are you ever going to agree with anything?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but it's like every time we say something and there's a meeting or whatever, I just see the looks, the shaking of the head, the talking under the breath, you're clapping, whatever. And it's like,
there you go.
Christine, if you took that energy, man, and just tried to help us, Could you imagine what might happen?
And if you took all of the skills that you have that are so wonderful, you have so much potential, and yet all you do is follow what Kevin
No,
suggests.
this is, but see,
All right,
this
so
is
let me tell you what I agree
think.
with.
This is
Let her
what you,
finish first, and then we'll
this
come
is
back.
what you think and assume. And you have said this
How do
from
you
day
know
one.
that?
But let me tell you something. The only person that keeps telling me, all you do is follow these guys, you shouldn't follow these guys, is you. Is you.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, that
That's
is.
not true.
Nobody else has ever come to me to say that.
It does look that way.
Why do you think that we
Thank
listen
you.
to him, that we
Thank
don't
you.
have
No, it
our own
looks
mind?
like-
It looks like what?
Let's not gaslight
So
either.
would you rather me just always, so to make it look better for you guys, should I just always vote no on everything that everybody else says? I mean, come on, guys.
That's not true.
You know what?
You shouldn't.
It's just, honestly.
We're not feeling hurt.
I'm not feeling hurt by any means either, trust me. I'm really not.
Yeah, it's the job you signed
Yeah,
up for.
okay. You don't know me that well. You really don't. What you
We're just
see
watching.
here isn't everything about me. All I'm simply saying is there is so much potential to do so much good. Why always be negative? Why not be more positive and approach it more positively?
It's not
That's it.
that.
Rather
It's
than stir
an
the pot
agreement
all the
or
time.
disagreement.
It's like I
Here's
just
the
want to
deal.
get you a big
Hold
spoon.
on, hold on.
Here's the deal. The majority, all right, and I'm just sticking to the conversation, and honestly, I think it maybe should have been a tomorrow conversation if that's the agenda.
What's tomorrow?
What's
Do me
tomorrow?
Sunday,
Or
right?
Monday.
Yeah.
You're gonna-
Yeah, it
I
should
don't
be
know, every day
Monday.
is tomorrow to me.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
But,
Sunday.
okay, I am the first person to say that I feel like there's a lot of potential for change and improvement on the commissions.
You're
And
not the
Kevin and
first
I
person.
probably,
Yeah, I don't
we
think
probably
you're
had
the
this
first person.
conversation
You're not the
years
first
ago. So I most certainly agree with that. Again, do I agree with the way it happened? A couple things going on. First and foremost, the board needs, I'm sorry, perhaps a reminder that they report to the residents, we don't report to them. So you people that are, doing what you want to do and suggesting that, this is what has to happen. What has to happen, we can't, and we never could. And Tino had made a very good point today in saying that you'll never make everybody happy.
No.
So no matter what you say or do, I think it's got to be some kind of integration between what the residents are suggesting and wanting and what the board sees behind the scenes, because
So hold on,
you
guys.
can't, it's not going to
So-
work.
So again,
No, no.
okay, so this is how I'll respond to that, is that you want the residents to have more say-so in what's going on here. Is that
That
what
would
I'm
be
hearing?
true and to be heard.
So then what I'm going to suggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, so every decision that we make up here, do you want us to put it on a referendum ballot so that way every person, all 24,000 people in Villa Park
Well-
have a say-so in that?
Nope.
No, 'cause I
Because
think
what
you're
we are
queuing that
done
up
is
for a
we are
whole-
elected by the people here to represent as best we can.
And you're not.
And I don't know if
So
you
it's
remember
not
that or
obvious
not.
when you
But
have
nobody
30 are here to
shows up.
represent.
How do you want us to know what?
this is
Well,
what we are
that's
doing.
been a point you've been making for quite a long time.
Who's been coming to these
So-
meetings to say, hey, here's my opinion?
Well, they're
Who's
starting
been
to
sending
come now.
these? One meeting, one. Let's see where we go forward from here. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying it's
agree.
one hot topic. Let's see what happens when the topics are just everyday paying bills and
Get
whatnot.
to Kevin's conversation earlier with respect to the commissions. I completely agree with probably 10 minutes worth of what Kevin is suggesting with respect to not necessarily reorganizing the commissions, but improving the performance of the commissions. There's been agendas that month after month just say this person's talking, that person's talking, the other person's talking. They should seem to have more specifics, and they should perhaps have quarterly objectives on what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, that's perfect. This is what
And
we're
it's
getting into.
never-
Hold on, this
and
is
it's
exactly what we
never-
need.
Because 2
Christine,
hours
this
to
is
get
what
here.
this is purpose for. So,
2
so here
hours
we
to
are,
get here.
just like what, just like trustee, or sorry.
Why not work with existing
Thank you.
commissions?
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that?
so
You forgot the motion.
no
But
argument.
that's what
there.
I'm getting at, Christine, is this is what
Yeah.
we're here for, is to
Yeah.
talk about this. So, what are your bullet points? What would you like to see and how
What
this
would you
change?
suggest? Yeah.
What are your suggestions?
Well,
You are
I have
a
to sit
resident
down and
here.
give it more thought, but for sure. I mean, I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm not on a commission anymore, and it doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. It's
So what
a
are your
process thing.
suggestions?
defined objectives on a quarterly basis by the commissions, and then at the end of a quarter perhaps, and maybe it doesn't have to be a quarter, I'm just picking a quarter. At the end of the quarter, what did we accomplish? I mean, right now,
Okay,
in Parks and Rec, we're talking
Did
about.
you read the ordinance that was
Did I
proposed?
read the ordinance? I'm not voting on it.
Did you read the ordinance?
I don't have a problem with the ordinance.
No, hold on.
No,
That's
no,
what
no,
that's what I'm
no.
getting at. Is if you
No.
had read the ordinance, you will see that it's built
That's
into the
in there.
ordinance
Okay.
that there is an annual report
Well, I don't
from every
care.
commission.
But you do,
Here's
because
the
you're
deal.
here to
No,
talk about
because
it.
it takes
No.
time.
See, that's the problem.
I don't
It's
have
the
a
reading
problem
of
with
it.
the ordinance
It's
or
reading.
that part of the proposal. The part that I have a problem with is you hand-picking the people that you're putting in, taking out the other people, and from what I'm understanding, there could be a new process that's being recommended that might integrate both, whatever. And then I was told by you, Kevin, at the March Coffee with the Board, outside in the hallway, that I would be off the Parks and Rec Commission sooner than later.
I never
So
saw
this
that.
went back, you've got it recorded on your phone, Kevin.
That-
So this
I
started
believe-
way
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in
yeah,
March.
I believe
So hold
that's
on,
when the
so-
And
whole
I'm not gonna
disability
FOIA
thing
your
came
personal
up.
phone.
That
That
was
is-
the
You
whole
already
disability.
have, but
I
that's
think
okay.
so.
But hold on, let me respond to this. Okay, you talk about how you have a problem with me hand selecting new commissioners.
Cause they're all your friends. They're all.
Okay, Tina, let me talk. Hold on. Hold on.
But when
Hold on
Nick
here.
picked
Tina,
people-
stop, please.
Tina,
hold on.
Wow.
So your
It's just a
problem
witch
is
hunt. That's
that
all it
I
is. It's just a
handpicked
witch
every
hunt.
commissioner for these commissions and that you're claiming that they're all my friends. First of all, yes, they are all my friends because of the fact that I have been here for 30 years. I have been a part of so many different organizations. Hey, I'm the village president. I do know a lot of people. That's part of my job. All right? But the
See,
people
you
that
don't
I'm putting
know
on
this.
there too, Christine, I think it's unfair that you're saying this is because it seems like you're intending that they're not qualified for those positions
No,
either
I didn't say
because
that.
they're my
That's
friends.
That's how it looks.
And I
That's
didn't
how
say
it
that.
looks.
Did I say
But hold
what
on.
qualifications
To
I said
furthermore,
was
to
that?
further do this is that you have been a trustee up here.
Yes,
You've
I
been a trustee up here. We've had a village president up here. At what point did you disagree with Cazone's or with or Al Boltheis's selections to these commissions?
They didn't select. People put in applications, which is the process. Did we ever turn
He's
down?
still
Hold on.
Did we ever turn
The
down?
ordinance reads that the
Again,
village
read it.
president has the authority to appoint people to the commissions
Sure does.
with the approval of the board.
And what's the definition of the board?
You
It's
have
not
to
5
read.
people.
You have to read is
Okay,
what the key
Christine, let
word
me
is.
ask you,
You
let me
have
say
to
something.
read things.
Excuse me, Tina.
I do read things.
But
Kate.
you
I
haven't,
read
but you
them.
haven't read what the new ordinances
I don't
or
have a problem
groups
with the
are that
ordinance.
Kevin,
May I
you
say
didn't
something?
read what his proposal is for the new commissions.
I
You
don't
just
have
said you.
a problem with the operation of the commission.
Oh, no, I know, It's
I'm
just
gonna say
always
something
gonna be
here.
the opposite,
I
so it's
was,
okay.
I sent in,
I don't
I was asked to be
understand,
part of
but
the Planning and Zoning Commission.
it's like a big bullseye.
Okay,
The vacancy was there.
we have a lot of those.
Well, right now we have a lot of those, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I sent in my resume actually to the previous village manager.
perfect.
And he read my resume, I was most qualified for the job. Guess what? Somebody else was appointed there because they got the village president got the resume 1 hour before my resume. So was that qualification by choice?
But also, who?
How did you get appointed as trustee?
But also,
Did you
Christine.
see my resume? Did you see my qualification? How long I've been serving this community?
What difference does it matter?
Maybe you don't know anything about it, but
the
maybe
ordinance
perhaps
says
you should
it's up
read.
to the president to pick.
Well,
Okay.
you can pass
So
gas in church, does that mean
the
it's a good
problem
idea?
is
No,
it's
no,
just
no,
something
no,
you
Kristen, let me
don't
ask
like,
you.
and so
Let me-
because it's something you don't like, you want to try to make it seem like like we're doing things that we're not supposed to be doing.
Have you?
But again,
Do
reading,
you know how long
reading
I have been in
ordinances.
this town? Do you know how many commissions or what other organization that I serve? For your information, you have no idea who I am.
Okay, so
Well, you
I just want to
picked on Bob
clarify.
Wagner
I
for
just want to.
how maybe you're doing
Excuse
too
me. I
much.
just. I would like. Hello. Order, please. If we have to have order here, I would also just like to clarify for everybody else a point of order. Thank you, Mary. There you go. That's the right word to do it. I would just like to clarify too, is that how things have operated in the past regarding the appointments to commissions. concerns, okay, is that I've already said that our ordinance clearly states that it is the village president that has the authority with the approval of the board. Whether that comes on a commission, okay, the board is who is up
Well,
here.
it's gonna be voted.
Tina, hold on, a majority of the board
The
at
board
least.
is gonna be
Okay,
voted on.
so, are there people on commissions out here currently? Okay, so, did you have an interview with a village president to determine your qualifications?
No.
Okay, I'm also
Did the
gonna tell you that
president
some
interview?
people on commissions right now didn't even submit an application. Some people did, some people didn't. But ultimately, even if an application is submitted, it is up to the village president and the board to determine those qualifications.
We've never turned somebody down for not being qualified, have we?
You tell me, Christine.
Not that I'm aware of.
But what I'm getting at here is we're not doing anything that hasn't been done before in the past.
That's the point. That's
And
the
it
point.
needs to be done because people don't know.
Right, and that,
How do you, I would love to be on a commission.
I get it.
I've got no clue
So
how
let's
to
talk
do it.
about that for a second, because you bring up a great and valid point, is that there's no information out there.
Right.
Nobody can even go to our website, our village website, to tell us how many commission appointments are available. Does anybody know? Because unless you don't have the spreadsheet that I have, nobody knows.
Right.
All right? But also, there are people out there that don't even know what commissions we have, or what they do, or what their functions or purposes are. Part of the process of restructuring is getting it codified in ordinance, so that way we know what that's outlined in there. But also, we talked about, with the meeting that I had with Trustee Cordova the other day, about my idea about having town hall meetings. It's exposure, it's engagement, having all the commissions there to present. It's opportunities to do this. To your point though too, yes, we need to come up with a better system on how people apply, on how people are made aware of those changes. That's what we are doing, and that's what I want to do. Because ultimately it is about how do we make Villa Park even better? How do we add onto that? It's not devaluing people and commissions, it's restructuring and trying to re-energize and reinvigorate.
You made a very good point. You said that the president has the authority to appoint people to the commission. Okay, but you're getting rid of those commissions.
With the consent of the board.
Okay, so you're getting rid of those commissions and then you're starting a new structure.
Okay.
I think the problem with the issue is that, yes, you have the authority to fill in vacant positions on the commission. I think the problem is the idea of throwing and restructuring and throwing out the old commission to put your new structure line in. And then you're talking about you want to get more people involved on working on as volunteers in this village, but yet you're replacing the volunteers that have served this village. And it came across, because it only comes out Friday, but it normally does, and none of the commissioners kind of got broadsided because it came out forward and kind of looked like, okay, now you're restructuring, which you have to do a plan to restructure.
I think we've heard all this before.
Yeah,
Cheryl,
this is,
come on now,
right,
we're almost 2 hours into this.
we're reiterating the same thing.
Enough.
You know, what I'd like to say is, let's remember that this is something that's just starting, okay? And like anything that's new, like when a new phone comes out, iPhone comes out with a new version of their phone, okay? It does the first one, they always say, don't buy the first one, let everybody else buy it first. Buy the second version, because by then they've had the bugs worked out, okay? So now maybe, once the new commissions are all made and people are put in and it starts to functioning, there's nothing saying that subcommittees can't be branched off from that. Okay? Which is opportunity for more people to get involved. But right now, we have to get the original structure done. Just like with the e-scooters. We have to get an original ordinance put in play. We can always go back and tweak it and change it and fix it down the road and add to it as we go along. But we need to start somewhere.
But also,
we need to start somewhere.
So for example, and I know the answer to this, I'm gonna ask you all out there as well. We have a subcommittee, we talked about the Bike Pedestrian Transit Subcommittee, right? What commission did that fall under? Not traffic and safety, environmental concerns. And the reason why is because it was too hard to make a text amendment to add subcommittees to the ordinance for traffic and safety than it was to just establish a committee under environmental concerns. Now, I can understand when you talk about like pollutants and air pollution and how transit might go under environmental concerns, but the appropriate place for that would have been traffic and safety. These are things that are in our code that
Need to be fixed.
need to be fixed. And to your point, though, Cheryl, is that had you read the proposed ordinances, you could see the differences between what you're calling throwing away and what I'm calling restructuring.
You have to
So I
read
just
it.
ask you to look at those a little bit closely, more closely, to see the differences. Because we are, by doing this, giving a more focused, details-oriented, and results-driven atmosphere to these commissions. We have to do this.
I think it was more Kevin, it's the courtesy of the people on the commission.
Okay, so I get that.
And I'm
But
not-
we are said that.
There's no time, there's no urgency on these changes.
Right. So here we have a previous trustee. He also a trustee in a different place, and he also is a commissioner on a multiple.
Understand.
Okay. So here's the thing. Do you want to have the same thing? The same person telling you, or same person doing this, or should we add more people to the commission?
I already said
I mean,
we need to add more.
look at this.
That's thinking talk.
So that's exactly what we said.
That's thinking talk.
You know, I've heard it, I listened to the whole entire board meeting, the entire whole board meeting last week, and it's great. I watched the whole thing at Divine, it was fun.
Hey, what are the two? Well, by the way, Vicki, what are the two words that?
The two words
Transparency.
are transparency and second the motion. So you have to drink every single time those are said during the board meeting. So we're doing it again on Monday night, so please come by, okay? So yeah, it'll be fun. So I asked them to actually say very well. Yeah, I bartend. I can't drink, but I'll be there to have fun. So yeah, but the couple things is, one, yes, I am on a commission, and two, I will state that I was appointed to a new commission. So, one, no offense to anybody who has ever said this or anything, but yeah, I'm not a Kevin, I'm Kevin's friend, whatever. I speak to Kevin, whatever, but I'm not his friend where I'm gonna vote with him on everything that he does, because we have definitely had discussions with him as well as other board members I have that I disagree with them, 100%. When it came out with the information, did I agree with the way it was handled? No. No offense. Do I agree that it needs to be done? Absolutely. Do I feel that people's feelings were hurt? Yes. You know, unfortunately, you can't keep taking feelings into account, because if we did that, we would get nowhere in any town, to be honest. Do I believe that a communication should have went out to all the old commissioners? 100%. Is there something that we're lacking in our town? It's a communication person. No offense, Riley is lovely and sweet, but you need somebody a little bit more senior to sit there and take on these communications out, i.e. getting the information out via either the way we're talking about getting out the information about the e-bikes, making sure that that is going into the schools, to the police, to whatever, however else we're going to be doing it, as well as anything that's happening with ordinances. There should have been a communication going to all the commissioners. I agree with that 100%. They're saying, hey, we appreciate this, these are the changes we're making. Please make sure you go through and read the ordinances, okay? We appreciate all your time. But you know, we need to move on. It's like everybody understands that everybody's feelings were hurt. We got it. And I think, you know, however they want to restructure it, they want to take more commissioners, fine, that's fine. But however we move forward, we move forward. And then we move forward and taking it into consideration the next time. Not that there's going to be a next time, but having that as a consideration. But having a communications person would alleviate a lot of this information. Misinformation that's going out there, a lot of things when you have reactionary, emotional things going on Facebook and everything, where you can have an official statement from the village going out through their website, through their web, and so forth, that would be helpful. That's my suggestion to the board. That is something that definitely needs to be had. I know I've spoken about it before. So that, you know, we have somebody doing that, not just somebody who's creating a Facebook post. We had a Facebook post go out. We were sitting at the board, at the meeting, at our traffic and safety meeting, and there was something came out about e-scooters.
The e-scooters.
And we're like,
Thank
we
you.
don't have a policy.
We don't
on
have a
e-scooters.
policy
Who
yet.
put this out
But
there?
it was put up
You know,
on
we
Facebook.
can't say that because it was wrong. We can't, it
The
wasn't our
village.
policy, it's the state policy. So somebody screwed up. Okay, and that's fine. We just go back. It happens all the time. So you know what? And then we just bring it back and we go, okay, this isn't correct, we move on. But you need someone actually really doing that. So hopefully
Yes, it was.
that will alleviate. So when something does happen, when the agenda goes out, if there's a hot topic, you know, we can address it and say, hey, this is what's going on. Everybody make sure you go out and read the, here's the link. My suggestion was also to, and I put it to Kevin and to Cordova as well, and said, you know, every time there's an agenda that goes out, hey, by the way, there's a board meeting on Monday, and that should come out on a Friday or Saturday morning, say, here's the link to the agenda. Have a nice day.
Can I
And when
add
there's- yeah.
to that? I also have talked and wanted to suggest that, you know, and it was taken off this agenda, I believe it's gonna be put on the next one, for staff to do a short presentation to show residents where to go on the website to find the agenda that has the packet and the memorandums, because a lot of people will just see the agenda, but they don't see what comes with it. Another thing I'd like to see is, yes, Christine is right. If the packet is 400 and something pages long, we barely want to read it, let alone all the residents are going to read it. It's not going to happen. But if you look at the memorandum, and that's why I want the staff to do the short presentation, it kind of sums it up a little bit, where you don't have to look at all the other pages. So at least that way there's a clear idea of what the discussion is really going to be about. What is the background of it? What is the discussion going to entail? So it gives you a little bit more than just like the small description on the agenda and or what is floating on social media. Okay, so I just wanted to say that because, and to your thing of why the packets are so to the extent is, you know, there's some trustees who will request every nook and cranny a piece of information be given to us that necessarily isn't really something like, I don't really need to read a contract between the contractor and somebody else, but yet that's in our packet and it's 20 pages long, you know, in that 480 something. So this is why the packets are as big as they are as well.
Leslie.
And,
Go ahead. Were you done?
Not really.
Go ahead, finish your.
No, I was just gonna say, one of the reasons why I read through the ordinance and the way that's restructured, because, you know, I was on my commission and we put forth to the board a recommendation that we did not make. We did not even know that it went to the board. It was regarding the union, saying that we approved this and we did not get, and Joe was here, Bob was here too, as well as like he could assess it. We did not approve anything to be sent to the board. But staff made a recommendation saying that we did approve it. Where is that? That is a major problem within that, because there is definitely some issues, and now I believe the board is actually readdressing that issue, because that was definitely not a recommendation that we made. So within the ordinance of making these recommendations, there's a lot more detail that needs to go in during our meetings. And, you know, the commission takes a lot more responsibility on pulling that together, and not on the staff. Staff is here to assist us. We are not here to assist staff. So I think that's something you need to go through. And regarding, like, if the 5 people being on commissions, I believe if you miss 2 or 3 meetings in a row or something like that, you can be taken off the commission. So so you know what? Because there's not a quorum. So you've got to be there. You have to make the commitment and want to be there. So I mean, for instance, me, I teach at Elmhurst, and so I do teach marketing communications over there. And it's like, I had to leave my class early every Monday, so make sure I get here, because it was 8 o'clock. You know, my class until 8:10, I told them I gotta leave at 8:45 to make my commission meeting. It was fine, but you have to make that commitment.
So to that point as well, though, too, is that if you didn't see it in the last packet that came out, is that I created a policy memo that was supposed to be used for discussion that outlined the roles and responsibilities of not just the staff liaisons, but the board liaisons. to clarify that, because that is something that has been muddied in the water as well. It's like, what are the actual roles? To your point, too, it should be an advisory commission directly to the board, not a staff-led discussion like you're saying. So that policy memo was in there as well for discussion as well. But these are all part of the process that we're trying to formalize and nail down. Leslie.
Going back to talking about educating the village about the e-bikes and the scooters, and talking about possibly having a presentation on that. The last 2 years, when the Fun Commission has done Autumn Jubilee, we have had our non-motorized people mover parade, which each year has gotten bigger. We had a really nice, I would say at least, 30 people in it, and they decorated their bikes and their baby carriages and roller skates, so on and so forth. I know that this year the Fun Commission is intending on having more presentations during Autumn Jubilee. We have a couple of different things, first aid for your pet, so on and so forth. Maybe that's where you have the presentation on bike safety or this motorized.
And I think it goes hand in hand too with, I forget exactly who it was, I read it said it was the most busiest intersection at Villa and the Prairie Path there, right in the same general vicinity, and I think that would be appropriate for an event like that to have that.
Yeah, and that's something that could be advertised, that would be happening.
So we have been here for over double the amount of time for Coffee with the Board. What I want to do is, for anybody that hasn't spoken yet, is there anything that you would like to ask or address? For anybody that hasn't spoken.
I'm here for someone else, actually. They asked me to speak.
Okay, is there anybody else right now?
I just have a new one.
Okay, but you've already talked. Is there anybody that hasn't talked
With
yet?
Monday's agenda.
Okay.
Check and make sure.
Mary Ann,
the attachments
go
are
ahead.
on Monday's agenda.
This is for somebody else.
I came back for somebody else because I promised them I would. Very, very quickly, personally though, slow down. There's no urgency. You can address one commission at a time.
Is that what somebody
But-
else asked?
No.
Okay,
That was,
so you
I
just
just
like
had to
slid
sneak that in.
that
But
I think we're done. I think we're done.
Ivan Figueroa asked
Let's be
me
done
to
here.
address junior commissioners.
Okay.
Because he had to leave for work and he didn't want to disrupt the meeting, I don't have a lot of detail, but I'm pretty sure he wants to stress the value of the junior commissioners and make sure that they are considered as
So-
these ordinances are changed.
I want to address that, and I can't agree with you and him more, okay?
yeah.
We need junior members because they are the new lifeblood of our local government as well, to get them engaged and everything. That is essential. Junior members are essential moving forward. However, with restructuring, okay, we need to allow the commissions the opportunity for them to tell the board what they want and what they need, including junior members. Not just junior members, but also, I understand that some of these commissions take on a heavy workload, okay? Right now, I'm proposing 5-member commissions for all of the non-state mandated commissions, okay? That is a base to work from. If a commission, when it's designed and operates appropriately, like what we're trying to restructure here, says, Kevin, Board of Trustees, we have such a heavy workload, we could use 2 more members on our commission. That is part of a formal recommendation that up here as a board we understand and will approve. That is simple text amendment. That way, then, those people that are interested will be able to get into the process that we're designing, of applying for that as well. So that way we could get them on there, including junior members. So Ivan in particular, he brings a lot to the table. And look at what he has produced for the village so far. The guy is amazing, and now I think he's over at COD, even furthering his education with sustainability and all. These are people that we need for our future. Just because that commission is being dissolved and restructured into something else does not mean that is the end for him or any other commissioners that want to get involved. There are going to be opportunities based on exactly what our commissions are going to tell us they need.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, the Environmental Concerns Commission definitely was proof of concept on showing that junior commissioners can work. but that's me, that's not items.
Also, the fun
But
commission.
anyway, again.
Azana on the fun commission, she's been doing an outstanding job as well. I mean, these are individuals that are taking the next step in understanding local government. They are very valuable to us as well. So it's not just environmental concerns that shows
Right, I
the
was just saying that
representation.
we kind of
We've
did
got
a
other
good job of
commissions as
presenting
well.
that, so,
But
yeah.
to my knowledge, and from my experience, those are the only 2 commissions that have that. So why not let all of the other commissions tell us, we want junior members. Let's do it.
Is it written into the ordinances, or can
No.
it be that they're allowed to do it? Because that might be a nice
So,
change.
so this might be a common misconception is once an ordinance is written, that's final, that's law. I'm gonna tell you, it only takes 2 weeks to change that text amendment.
Okay, so well,
It has to
yeah,
be
so definitely
proposed.
put that on the list of suggestions as we discuss the proposed ordinances.
Sure, but these commissions, if they want junior members and they have a structure for it, we absolutely should be involving the youth in that.
Okay, so just make sure the ordinances allow for that structure.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, perfect.
If you read the ordinance,
All right.
it's in
I
there.
mean, I can't really talk more because I don't know what else Ivan would have said, but he did want me to make sure I brought up the junior commissioners.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, thank you.
And he has reached out to me in email as well. So, and I've talked to him about that as well and replied to that. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm sitting here this whole time and last meeting, and everybody talks about how they want to hold Kevin accountable, but yet they want to hamstring him by an old way of thinking. So if you want to hold Kevin accountable, let him work his process and do what he thinks needs to be done. Then, when he does his process and he does what he thinks needs to be done, then hold him accountable. But don't hold him accountable by an old set of rules and an old tradition and an old nonsense that's not working. Look at Villa Park and look at all the Will you stop shaking your head and showing this negativity at comments? Right, in your mouth and words. So if you look at Villa Park and all its surrounding neighbors, we're the least developed of all our surrounding suburbs.
We are.
And I see that because there's this negative element in Villa Park that just fights tooth and nail against any sort of change and any sort of modernization. And we're seeing it here, we're seeing it today, we saw it at that last meeting. And I believe that's the reason why Villa Park is the least developed of all its surrounding neighbors. So if you want to hold Kevin accountable, let him lead, let him do his thing. That's it.
What I will say to wrap up this meeting though, is that I understand that change is difficult. I understand that. We are all in this together. But we are changing. And it's going to be for the better.
Good changes.
Good change is coming. We have a lot of potential, a lot of untapped potential. We have natural resources that we can absolutely enhance. We have one of the largest stretches of prairie path in DuPage County. We have trail systems, bike paths. We have so much opportunity. We do have a good community. We have a strong community that cares. And that's why this is so hard, is because there are a lot of people that do care. But we care as well. And that's why we're doing this, is because we see Villa Park's potential and we are bringing that to the forefront. So yes, I will take full responsibility for the outcome of the results of these commissions and for the next 4 years at Villa Park. I'm on the hook for that. That is what I signed up to do. But that is what I want to do, and that's what Villa Park deserves. So please,
That's what the people need to let you
give me
do.
the opportunity, and you will see the results. So, with that being said, I want to end this meeting.
Wait, we got one last person who hasn't talked.
Joey.
Yeah, I just have one last question to close it out.
Okay.
When are we doing this lottery thing and getting everybody $1 million?
So as long as you're as long as you're bankrolling, we're good to go. But listen,
I'll buy your first ticket.
But also, it's very important to know that every person on this board, whether we agree or not, whether the discontent that you see between some of us that we have up here, we have relationships to mend and work on as well. But all of us are extremely passionate about Villa Park. and what we have to offer. And that's why this gets so hard sometimes. But we are all your neighbors up here. We are all your neighbors. We are all people and human beings up here as well.
And residents.
You are more than welcome to reach out to us anytime with your questions and concerns. I have never, ever told anybody I do not want to talk with them and that I won't talk with them. And I don't think anybody has up here either. That is what we signed up to do, is to make Villa Park better than when we picked it up. So please take that into consideration, but we do have the best of intentions moving forward. So I would like to call this meeting adjourned at 11:15. We do have a committee of the whole meeting at 6 o'clock on Monday, followed by our village board meeting at 7. So please, you're more than welcome to attend. Thank you for coming out tonight.
No more clapping.
Yes, how are you, darling?
God, I've been sitting there thinking I want to say something to you, and I completely lost my train of thought. Oh,
The street?
no. Saying that we need new commissioners. I think it's wrong. We have people in 3 commissions. I'd love to be on the commission. I don't know how to do it. I mean, there's
I got your message.
yeah.
How to do it.
Exactly.
Getting reappointed.
And like, I mean, I don't have, I'd love to be a trustee. I do not have the nerve to run. I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But I would love to be on the commission.
Until we have it, the problem is.
How the hell does all this happen? You know, and it just,
a lot of people don't
it just, there's new blood is needed.
Well, I don't know if this is something that has to be,
So,
because.
I hope I'm not too old to be new blood.
Not at all. No, new doesn't mean young. It just means somebody with different ideas.
There you go.
Open-mindedness.
There you go.
You gotta have.
He's got
I
chickens too.
got 2.5 hours invested in.
I want to look at the basement.
What?
I want you to look at the basement.
Okay, let's go do it.
Oh, for the basement. Okay, well, we're gonna wait.
Might be down there.
Oh, you should come on down too. I will, like I said, I got my email to